1/15/2017. It's a request to temporarily close a portion of Furwood Drive and Oakbrook Estates for a block party for October 14th. The residents did agree to coordinate with the police department. And Sean, you've done it many times for residents.
Yes.
But we never discourage that whenever it's their own street and they want a block party. It's
I have one question. What's the time frame for it?
I don't know, do you know, Sean? Or do you not care?
You know what, I don't have the times. They typically work with them where all first responders can go through and it's all a agreement amongst all the residents. So I'm not sure what time you want to start that party.
So we don't really care, right, as long as he's up on it.
Mr. Chairman, the letter, I have a copy of the letter. It says from noon and the anticipated cleanup between 10 and 11 p.m. that evening.
From noon till
So
what?
from noon till 10 p.m. That's for Furwood.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess, is everybody invited? All the firemen and everything too, chief?
As far as I know,
Is there a motion to approve that request?
I'll make that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 1/16/2017, it's the same type of request for a portion of Overview Drive in the Overview development.
Same question.
September 16th.
This one here is September 16th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. With a 2-hour window before and after needed for setup and/or cleanup.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 1/17/2017, it's the consider purchasing a salt brine storage system for the Public Works Department for the cost of $22,630. So I know it was anticipated, but Bill, bring everybody up to date on it, the residents also. No request.
This is a brine storage tank for this side of the township. It's a 3,000 gallon brine storage system with a pump. A lot of our trucks are outfitted with a brine system on the back of the truck for the winter maintenance season. We currently have one on the over at Southpointe. This will be for use on this side of the township. And we also have a 925 gallon truck mounted tank. It will allow us to actually pre-treat all of the township in a very rapid manner now. We currently have just one truck set up for that. We've been restricted to just doing bills in some intersections. This will allow us to treat all the bills, all the radiuses and intersections. This was requested in the 2017 budget. The money sits there waiting for acquisition.
Tell everybody the benefit of that treatment, that pre-treatment.
Oh, the benefit is that while on the truck, it improves the exothermic properties of the salt. As soon as the salt hits the ground, you'll turn around on that road, and that road will be wet. It really activates the salt. It also allows us to use less salt, which is a huge savings for us. We're currently paying about 22 cents to 24 cents a gallon, depending on where we're getting for the brine solution. Another side benefit, if we know a storm's coming in, this buys us some time until we can get our forces mobilized out there, especially on the larger forecasted storms. It buys us time, also helps us to clean the road off further.
Any questions for Bill?
No?
Yeah, just one quick one. Where do we buy the salt brine?
We're currently purchasing our salt brine from North Van. In years past, last year was the first year we bought it from North Van. In years past, we bought it from Peters Township. North Van offered us a better price last year per gallon. So we'll shop the price around and go with whoever offers us a better price.
So what, they have very large holding tanks or?
They have large holding tanks and they have brine making equipment. Peters Township, St. Clair, North Van, they're all capable of making their own brine solution.
Is that something we would ever investigate?
Not until we get a new building and have a permanent location. The equipment's expensive too. It's about $75,000 to $85,000 to purchase the brine making equipment, and it's also expensive to maintain and upkeep.
Anything else? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
It's
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries. Again, that's is through the CoStars program where it's, the state has bidded for us already. 1/18/2017, it's minutes of the meeting on Monday, August 7th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Now for our general fund invoices from August 1st through August 31st, the motion to approve the general fund expenses.
I'll make that motion.
It's been moved. Need a second. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Carol, let the record show that the motion carries 3-2 with Mr. Gizio and Ms. Collins and the many votes. One other item, I know that was announced last night, I apologize, it wasn't on the agenda, was for that run in Southpointe. We tabled it to this month and I neglected to put it on. We have to address it.
For what was this one?
Yeah. Dawn, tell us about the request again. I don't know if the applicant is here. All right, Sean.
I don't see the individual here tonight, but we did meet with both Washington County Humane Society 5K shelter run. They agreed to all the conditions. They met all the conditions. The Faster Fitness 5K chili run is what you just referred to. We met with the gentleman. It's going to be the exact same course, location, and the amount of officers, and they also agreed to all the conditions.
Well, we approved the one for the Humane Society last month.
Yeah, the first one was approved.
This one was tabled, so this is the only one we're talking about right now.
Yeah, the Faster Fitness 5K chili run.
All right. All right, our solicitor reminded me that since it wasn't on the agenda and we had the time for comments at the beginning of the meeting. Does anybody have any, want to weigh in on that? Our manager's been getting more and more requests even for private runs in Southpointe, for memorials and for, I'm not quite sure what, the chili run, it's for a guy that has a gym in Southpointe. You heard last month, if you were here, we approved the one for the Humane Society. It's a fundraising thing for them. And I guess our board needs to weigh in on a policy for that, whether we're going to just keep accommodating everyone who requests it, or if there should be some guidelines, like for government or for nonprofit or for something like our Humane Society that's related to our township. I don't know if anybody weighed in with Dawn on the board yet. But I want to just let the residents comment on that. Anybody have any thoughts on that, on the requests we've been getting? But one more thing I want to mention, Bill, you haven't weighed in how much time it takes for the road guys to handle, to go out there for barricades and things that they do, if they're requested to put some horses up and things like that.
We dropped those off the night before and allow the race organizer to put those in place in conjunction with our police department. So we'll take everything out the night before.
And then you pick them up the following Monday,
The following Monday, we'll go out and pick them up.
so the guys aren't going, they're not going
Not
more
calling
than,
anybody out to do that kind of work on the weekend.
so it's the minimum amount of our road guys.
Yeah, we'll put them out late on a Friday afternoon and pick them up early Monday morning. And a designated area, that's the record by the chief.
All right. Anybody have any comments or thoughts on that? Yes.
So you're saying that anybody can just request to have a run to raise money for any reason? Like, so I agree with what you partially mentioned about if it's for a nonprofit or a good organization, but like if I wanted to have a run just to raise money for myself, I don't think that that's something the township should be having to participate in. But if you wanted to, participate in a nonprofit or something like that, I think that's a good idea for a fundraiser, but where do you draw the line?
Well, I mean, I've personally never seen anybody run a race to raise money for themselves.
I was
Even
being
the
facetious.
Faster Fitness one, they're promoting it and doing the run, but it benefits a charity every year. I forget who it benefits this year, but it benefits a charity. Personally, I think as long as they are funding the cost that the township incurs out of their own pocket, paying for the police, that kind of thing, I think it's fine to encourage it. Where I don't want to see it go is, I don't want it to cost taxpayer dollars, so we shouldn't be paying overtime for 5 police officers to go up and work at their run. So maybe perhaps if we write a policy that says, you know, any and all costs need to be incurred by the township need to be covered by whoever is putting on the race. And I don't think it can be during the week. I don't think you can have a run impacting traffic. But on a Saturday, there's not a ton of traffic going in and out of Southpointe. And it's a good way to showcase Southpointe. And
My only thought is, what about the other businesses that are up there that their workers need to get to work and have to go through the traffic for?
I actually had that conversation with some people who live up there and work up there, and some of the members of the chamber. They love it because it showcases a lot of those businesses are not opening now on Saturdays because nobody comes up to Southpointe on the weekend. So for
I
them,
like her idea though, nonprofit.
I'm sorry.
I like her idea with nonprofit fundraiser ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I think as long as it benefits
Something
something else, but I think, I've never
But
seen
I
that.
think too, it could get out of control where they're going to be having something every weekend.
Even that gym, if we weren't aware that it was going to a charity. If it's going to a charity, that's a whole different thing. But if they're raising money to go towards their gym, that's a whole different story.
No, last year they gave it to Jameson's Army. I forget who it benefits, but it says on their flyer who it benefits this year. I don't know. I mean, I know I can't speak. I don't run, so. But the people who work and live in Southpointe, they enjoy having that kind of stuff.
I just think I'd limit it maybe to like 2 a month. You know, if it starts to get
2 a
too
month.
many people requesting it. I mean, you could go the whole summer.
I think
Have
we've
something
only
every
really
week.
ever had like a couple a year, and
Yeah.
we're not talking about
Yeah.
every weekend.
Yeah, as long as it stays that.
I've put on a run before. Runs are a lot of work, so you're not gonna. I think that as long as we have a policy where it's not costing the taxpayers money and it's not impacting the township, it's fine.
Do we know that, Cindy?
I'm sorry?
It seems to me that we don't know actually if it is costing us or if it isn't. I would suggest we have some kind of committee and you do a research so you can answer questions, because I agree that
It does not cost the taxpayers money. We require, up to this point, every run that we've put on that has required police or public works, we have required the race, the people who are putting on the race to pay the fees. It's not,
we know that for a fact, that there's no money being put out by the township.
not while I've been
That's a
on
fact.
it. Not while I've been on the board, no. And Tom says that's a fact, and so he would know.
Tony?
I think they should utilize the trail. I think the trail's available to them. Most likely, if they get with the Montour Trail Council, why is the trail right there and not use it?
Yeah, I'm not sure why they asked for Southpointe as opposed to the trail. It seems like it'd be less expensive, less overhead for them. But
I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, I've done 3 runs with the charity that I sit on the executive board, all run on the trail, 1 in March and 2 in May. Every time we encountered bad weather, and so people showed up or bad weather that one was that day and the other were a couple days previous, the trail is messy and sometimes unsafe, whereas if you're running on a paved road, you know, as long as it's not storming at that particular second, you can almost always still have your race. But all 3 runs that we did, runners didn't bowed out at the last second because the conditions were unsafe. And for people who run on a regular basis, they don't want to risk blowing out a knee or an ankle on a trail that's unsafe. And so that's where it's a little bit, and believe me, I utilize the trail almost every day, so I'm a big trail fan. But you know, for a professional run like that, it's hard to put that much time and effort into it and then not be able to
On
use
the
it.
roads from Southpointe